Had a lot of issues with James Franco, who I believe to be the worst human being on the planet. We take a look at the recent accusations against James Franco and how he has handled them. He went on to Stephen Colbert to make statements such as, "I'm not going to say anything because I believe that they need to speak. And I believe in their word so much that I'm just not going to say anything." Except before that, when he was asked about the allegations, he mentioned one of the 5 women and basically said that he gave that, "Oh, she must be crazy" look. So he was like, I have no idea what she could be talking about. And so what does that mean? That like the other 4, like, you know what they're talking about, and you think that if you think it's not true, they shouldn't? Like, what are you're basically, I mean, you realize how logically, like, flawed that is to say, I'm not going to say anything because I respect them, but then to pick one of them and say something and say that what she said couldn't possibly be true. Because now, obviously, since he said that, everyone looks at her and they're like, wow, well, she must be like, some crazy actress chick who is just, making stuff up. And then kind of like looking deeper into the allegations, you have the girl who now remember, James Franco is a 39-year-old intellectual who has allegedly was teaching at he was teaching at every college, Stanford, USC, fucking Santa Barbara. So he's teaching all over these places. And the one girl, she was 23. And Franco, he allegedly, and then, you hear that, and you're like, all right, well, whatever, that, and people have come out, like Sharon Osbourne, she's like, you do that in relationships, you do that, and people could relate to that, but if you read the actual account, it was the first time that it ever happened, she was super uncomfortable, and since James always makes up for everything he does, he made up for that by, pursuing into a relationship with her. So that, and I mean, keep in mind, he's like James Franco. He's not like a normal person. The dude's rich as fuck. And, a lot of people find him attractive. So I don't know why he's having weird relationships with younger girls. And that kind of leads more to the next point. Now, the current allegations against him, don't sound very serious, and that's why some people, on the women's side are coming and they're like, well, and it's true, those 5 specific ones, when you read into them, they're actually a little weirder, and it could suggest something darker. I mean, this is a man who cast himself into a movie that he wrote and directed where he performs oral on, 5 girls at one time. So, I mean, I don't know if that's something most people would do. He does have, this really kind of, obsession with sex. I mean, he taught a sex scenes class, which is obviously completely fine, and that should be taught and stuff. But it's just one more thing into it. And I think what he's really trying to hide up and cover and not be able to get to is the things from the past about a while back. There was a 17-year-old girl allegedly, and he had wanted to go to her hotel room, and those comments came out, and Franco, he didn't deny them. He goes, well, social media can be a tricky thing. I guess I've learned my lesson. That sounds like what one of those fuckers on Chris Hansen's To Catch a Predator would say. Oh, I've learned my lesson. They all said it every time they got caught and didn't think they're going to jail. They're just like, yeah, learned my lesson. Won't do that again. And then they also made it on social media is tricky. Yeah, it's tricky how, sometimes on social media, you that's what the child predators would say. You know, it's tricky. Sometimes you're online, you start, you know, you talk to a 14-year-old girl, and then next thing you know, you're meeting up with them, and then, bam, have a seat. Take a seat, James Franco. I think fucking James Franco needs to take a seat.